Hello, hello, and happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Titan Talk. I'm Isaiah, Kilgun with me, and Clumsy is joining us today because we have a stacked show. It's time to start talking about Open Beta 12 with Ganesh and a lot of other cool stuff. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing good. We got a lot to talk about today. I'm excited to talk about it all. A lot of fun stuff. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah. What about you, Clumsy?
Good start to the week. I'm excited to get into it.
Sweet. Well, let's get into it. So, like I said earlier, it's going to be a pretty stacked show, so we likely won't have any time left over for a Q&A or anything, but there's lots of cool stuff in Open Beta 12 that we are here to talk about today. So I will bring up the handy-dandy desktop here, and we'll kick it off with the star of the show, Ganesh. And let me unmute here.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's looking good. So, Clumsy, talk to us about Ganesh in SMITE 2.
And before we get into it, I will say, as always, when we show things off on the show, there's a little bit that's still work in progress, right?
Yep.
A couple things that I know are missing are the audio on attacks, the VGS audio, the final ult pillars I know are still a little bit work in progress. But we just want to give you guys a look at where he is right now with the caveat that there's still a little bit of work to be done that we know about. So,
Sweet.
But he does look great.
He looks awesome. I love him.
Yeah, so talking about Ganesha, I mean, bringing him from SMITE 1 to SMITE 2, I think he's just like one of those supports that, I mean, he's like one of the most supportive supports in the sense that he literally cannot be getting his own kills unless he's obviously completely by himself. And he's just a staple, but he's also pretty heavily intense on the damage that he can output as well, and the CC and the lockdown, especially with that silence. We talked a little bit before about some of his +1s, but I want to reiterate some now because I think we've even like added a little bit on top of that.
Oh, nice, cool.
Okay, so you've got his passive. If there's any allies in the vicinity, he'll actually be gifting and bestowing them his kills, and that includes god kills as well as minion kills as well. So he'll get that assist. But now instead, a little added spice to that good fortune is that if he does gift a god kill, he will also get a little bit bonus gold too.
Nice.
So he's going to be getting a little bit of that benefit for himself.
Just a little bit.
It doesn't feel like it's just you're only giving. You're getting a little bit of that fortune back. He's the god of success. After all, right? So.
Sweet. And then let's talk about the Turn of Fate.
Turn of Fate. So he sends that curse forwards. The main +1 on this ability is that now when an enemy god is hit by the Turn of Fate, they're actually going to be marked. And when they're marked, you can see that, well, the mark of the curse. Any further hard CC from anyone on your team, so not just from yourself, will actually proc that mark to deal bonus damage.
It was a good example of our number summing there, too.
Oh, yeah.
When you dash forward. There's other ways to see this, too. But, see the number counted up, so it wasn't just like I did 30, 30, 30.
We'll definitely see it on the ult here when we show it off.
That's right.
Sweet. Ability 2, Ohm.
Ohm, I think, is almost exactly just the same. You're going to be going ahead and silencing the enemies in front of you, getting protections, and giving protections as well to all of your allies nearby.
Yeah.
You have that small movement speed, slow as well, but it's not very high.
And then, of course, we've got the Turn of Fate. The big +1 on here is he can now destroy player-made non-ultimate walls, right, Clumsy?
Yes, that's one of the main ones. So you can actually, I mean, if you want to give it a try, you can bot shoot once for the Ymirs. It'll spawn several walls.
So what is it? Just all one word?
All one word. Bots shoot once. So there's 2 S's in there. Bots shoot once, space 1.
Once, space 1.
Yes. The bots shoots once is also one word.
Ah, it's all one word.
It's all one word and then space 1. Like trying to have a look at this.
Oh. And then dash through them.
There you go.
Yeah. And you can see 2 of them broke early because he went through those, and you can actually, and then the last one stayed because he didn't hit it.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's like there's Thorwall, there's on her pillar. Is it just those 3 for right now?
For right now, I believe it's just those 3. We talked about like whether deployable and stuff count, and they do not. I think it'd just be inconsistent there. So, and it's not ultimates as well. So you're not going to see him going through and breaking the Odin ultis or the emoji ultis. That's just not very cool.
Sweet.
And then I'm pretty sure you still pass through them.
Can you do the silence again one more time? Oh, never mind. Okay, we're good.
But another further +1, plus like, 0.1 that we added to Ganesha as well, is that you cannot cancel the dash while you're actually dashing. There's not all dashes allow you to do that. But what you can do now actually is if you dash and you hit someone, you can cancel during this like the attack.
Oh, okay, nice.
So if you go in and you connect, right click, then see you get the stun. You don't get any of the damage, right? You're stopping.
Yeah.
But that also just means that like if you connect and you actually hit someone by mistake, or you just want to like go in that direction then leave, or do something like earlier and you don't want the full thing, you're not locked into that entire process.
Right, but you have to play the whole animation if you want the knockout.
Exactly.
Right? Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And does it end the stun a little bit early too, or is it?
No. So once you first hit, you're
as
gonna
soon
get
as
the
you
stun.
hit cancel.
Yeah,
if you
as
can.
soon as you
Try
hit
and time
cancel,
it.
you'll get the stun, but you won't get any of the damage.
Okay.
That's tough. That's tough
Yeah.
timing, but.
Cool.
All right, and then Dharmic Pillars, the ultimate. Let's see if I can line it up here.
Yeah, it's all there, and it's goodness. You can see the timer in the center. You can see all the damage that it's doing.
Yikers!
Especially because we have the incremental damage now.
Yeah, I think that like, and you can turn off the number summing or whatever, with the incremental damage, whatever you want to call it. So this isn't something that you have to have on. It will be on by default for new players. But I think that like it helps understand how much damage things are doing in a way that was not clear to me before.
For sure. I mean, I literally, the number something was in, and that same day I was testing Ganesha, and I did exactly this. I tested the ultimate, and I'm like, I knew this did a lot, but I'm just looking at that number
is
rise.
That supposed to be
and then I check like Smite 1, and I check our numbers. I'm like, no, that's the numbers.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
always been the numbers.
Yeah, and
Dear Lord.
I will say that like that's kind of best case scenario, right? Because like usually for Ganesha, you're gonna hit it like once or maybe twice, unless you get like rooted on it, or you know you time your 3 to perfectly hit when they're standing on it. So yeah, like that kind of a thing. But yeah, I think it's definitely still a very strong ability.
Oh, it's very
lots
good.
of damage.
And one might say it's only going to get better, but we can talk about
I know,
that
right? Well, I think we've gone through everything with the base kit. So,
Yes, I think
anything
that's
else
the
on
main
base kit before we get into aspect?
No, I mean, I think the passive meter is still being arted up a little bit, but you can see that number is going to just be how many gods you've bestowed your kills on, just as usual.
Can you one more time? Just one other thing, just to quickly call out. So from the center, you see there's the timer of when it's going to expire. So just a nice little visual
that's
thing
a nice touch
to see. And I think that's everything I want to talk about.
Sweet. All right. Well, we will turn on Ganesh aspect. I believe it is this command right here, and I've got it on. So Clumsy, let's talk about it, shall we?
Oh yeah, here we go.
Aspect of the triumphant. So I'm just gonna read it, and then we can go into it.
Absolutely.
Ohm no longer silences, but deals damage to enemies in front of you and provides yourself and allies movement speed. Turn of Fate's mark now only procs the next time you hit the marked enemy with an ability. Additionally, you no longer bestow kills to allies, but each god kill provides permanent cooldown rate.
Yes, that's right. So the main components of this is really the fact that your Ohm, your second ability, is no longer silencing. It's dealing damage per tick instead. That movement speed slow that I mentioned earlier that is there is now actually a movement speed increase for yourself and for your allies. Everything else about the ability is the same. So you're still getting the protection, you're still sharing that with your allies as well. The other components of it as well is the passive. Usually you'd be bestowing kills, but now you're not bestowing anyone's kills.
Right,
You're just getting them yourself. You're being a little bit more on the selfish side here. But that also means you lose that bonus gold that you would have been gaining when you were bestowing. So now you're getting that cooldown reduction instead.
But I got a kill, and you see that one. Of course, the passive meter is still being arted up, but that does denote that I've killed an enemy. And how much is the cooldown rate?
It's 2 cooldown rate.
2 cooldown rate per
killed.
kill.
Yes.
Nice.
This is incredibly fun. I've been playing this in playtest for the last week or so. I've played it mid, I've played it solo, I've played it jungle. It has worked in every role. Some are better than others, but like the build changes. You know, like when I'm playing solo, I was building more like hybrid int plus defense items. When I was doing jungle, I was trying to do more like bursty kind of int, like full int build. And when I was going mid, I was trying to go more like I don't know, more like battle magey. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but like it's really fun. Can you go back to base and just like buy a bunch of items just to show?
He's gonna start swinging
here.
pretty darn hard.
Because
let's see
does.
I need to get some gold. Add gold. And
Inbound, always with the great questions, the 2 knockback wave minions. You know, I only ever see that because he types in caps lock and he says,
oh
twice,
my gosh.
3 times here now, actually.
Let's
And, you know, I'm not going to answer. No, I'm joking. I actually can't remember. We can find out and then I'll double check.
Yeah,
but what would you want it to be, Bobby?
Right.
I will cater our needs to you specifically.
I'm just building a bunch of
just a bunch of random int items. You know, just
oh man, this is so cool.
Okay. And then
I'll probably
Knockback would be OP, so don't do it, you're saying.
Yeah.
or like you would really like that and that would be cool.
Yes, this is just some random int items. This isn't even necessarily like
don't do
ideal.
Okay.
But spawn a couple bots and like let's look at how much damage the 2 and the 4 can do. because it's crazy, in a good way.
Spawnbot, Ymir.
So Ares can have it, but Ganesha can't have it. I see you, Bobby. Okay.
What is it? 2-1 for the command.
2 space 20.
20. There we
Well,
go.
that would be the level spots in.
There we go.
Okay, so
Oh yeah.
Sorry, was there someone there? Like,
it's very fun. But you're a lot, not as tanky as you normally be. Be very scared of an elephant showing up in your lane is all I have to say. It's a blast. You do have to build int though. If you don't build int, you don't do much with this build. So that's my tip for how to be very happy.
Yeah, and then like that last caveat that we mentioned, usually the mark that was added to the Turn of Fate would be procced by your team's hard CC, including yourself, but that part is changed to be only your ability damage.
Nice.
So it will not be proccing off of anyone else, but because the two, and this is something that Kilgoon actually talked about earlier, because it made a lot of sense, is that you're losing the silence component, so you're losing one less method to proc it, so now it's your ability damage instead, and your 2 is now an ability that
You
does
could proc it
damage.
and then like drop your ult. If they walk through the ult, then they get hit with the proc
Exactly.
damage. So that's a lot.
Yep, and a lot of the damage in this is in the 2, which you can be stunned or silenced out of. Like if you're getting interrupted while you're trying to 2 channel, it's less fun, I will say. But when it's working, it's working, and the fact that you kind of like zoom along as you're doing it too, because your speed is very fun. So
do you mind hovering over the 1 as well?
Absolutely.
And then give me the okay. Yeah, so this was something interesting as well that was added early on. The mark damage is actually it scales off of your enemy's level. So it's something that we haven't actually done before, which is it's a flat bonus damage, and the scaling is not intelligence, it's not your level, but it's actually the enemy's level. And this is not just for the aspect, this is just that mark damage as a whole. The damage itself does not change whether you're in the aspect or not.
Yeah.
But that's something I wanted to point out there as something unique.
Nice, that's cool. Well, Ganesha in the battleground, and you can either be the true support of the supports or just be dealing a lot of damage. Kilgun slammed me in a playtest this morning with Ganesh aspect, so I'm still a little salty, but
this
it's
is
fun.
like my 4th time playing it in playtest though, and the first time I played it, I was like, this aspect sucks, Clemsy. We gotta do something.
Buff it more.
No, because the first time I played it solo, and I built like all defense items, and I was just like, I can't clear the wave, because I thought that I was supposed to just like, as some aspects, just the aspect will change your kit enough to where like you can kind of build and not have to build 2 in a certain direction, and it'll do the thing. You got to build int if you want to do damage on this aspect. If you're not building int, you're gonna have a bad time. But if you build int, it's really fun.
Oh yeah.
So
Or at least build like hybrid ints, but like you definitely want to splash that in there.
Sweet. Well, that is Ganesha's in-game gameplay showcase. Let's talk about the Ascension Pass. So we've got Shadow Ganesh.
Nice.
Oh, this is fitting for dealing a lot of damage.
If you're going to be going the aspect, you need to go this.
So that is his Shadow
that's
skin.
ominous. I love it.
His first tracker is marked damage. Total damage done by Ganesh when he hits a marked target. That's fitting for the aspect as well. You've got your mastery emote. You've got the clap. You've got objectives destroyed, God assist. Bestowed kills, his second premium tracker. Very fitting. So not so much for aspect Ganesh, but for base Ganesh. The number of kills bestowed to allies. This is just a good one. How many kills you're giving off to your team. And then we've got Onyx up next.
Nice.
The classic.
I like that. It's very like it's still purple elephant, but with with a cool outfit.
He's got those black leather jeans.
I
on.
know, right? And then we have Opal Ganesh.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
that
I
just
love
suits
it.
him
I love
super
the
well.
purple armor hits that complement his skin tone very well. That's nice. And all the armor details too. That's sick.
I think that's probably a temp global emote. I don't know if the global emote's actually there.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, so the global emote's there, the artist
That's
temp though.
adorable.
It's the elephant in the room.
Okay.
And then we've got the wave emote. His title is successful.
Got a
Missing
success.
string table entry.
Got your, I know, right? We got to clean those up.
I think Blake was looking at those.
Nice.
So the ones that were broken from the last patch, I think are fixed in this patch.
Cool. God Kills Tracker, his mastery badge, and then of course Radiant
Nice.
Ganesh.
Oh my god, the way
This
that,
is
like,
sick.
The tattoos on his body just shine, especially in his ears.
I think,
nice.
I think my favorite this time might be Shadow though, just because it's
Shadow's
so
sick.
Yeah.
different,
Yep.
right? Like, usually it's like Shadow's cool. Don't get me wrong, but like This time I think it's like I might just rock that one.
For me, it's Shadow if I'm playing Aspect, and then Radiant if I'm not.
There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's like the ends of both spectrums. That's it.
And then I assume the card.
Yeah,
the card
I checked
effects
it
are not in
earlier.
yet.
It's still temp.
Yeah.
but
All right. Well,
it'll come in, and we'll get it polished up for
always
release
the last thing that gets in.
Yeah, on Monday. So I'll bring us back to cams while I prep our next segment. But Ganesh in the update on Monday.
Yep.
Then the Aspect going to be releasing next Friday after the update.
Sweet.
All right. Speaking
But
of
there's
aspects,
another aspect in this update.
we've got another one, and this one is pretty spicy. So actually, I need to leave the lobby here before I can enter practice.
Clumsy, can you prepare us
Yes.
for this aspect?
Yeah, so we talked about how last time when there's a god that came out recently that didn't come out with an aspect, and we said that we'd get there, and we were still cooking on that one because there's definitely a certain level of spice that's involved in the kitchen for this one. So Sila will be getting her aspect in this patch as well. And it's we'll have to remember the name and the details.
Let's see.
Somebody in chat said Baron's aspect came out today.
Yes,
so if
it
you
is
want to
out
play
now.
Baron's aspect, it's out now. Basically, you can throw your Baron's brew every 20 seconds, which is fun. You get like an extra ability, and if you're at max hysteria, your abilities are going to deal extra damage.
Yes.
So,
That's right.
Cool. All right. Well, I am ready to go. I will bring up the handy dandy desktop, and we'll talk about Sila's aspect. So chat immediately. I'm level 20. What's wrong with this picture? You know?
We were talking the Biak guy. What's wrong with this? There's something odd here. And that might, and it's not a jungle practice bug. It might be just the fact that Sila has no mana right now.
Exactly. So let's talk about aspect of the Devourer.
Yes.
So your non-ultimate abilities now provide mana when damaging enemies instead of spending it. I'm a monster can only be used at full mana, consuming all of it. It no longer provides movement speed, but can now be refired up to 3 times, and the damage scales from your max mana. I'm a monster stacks now immediately provide max mana at max rank. You gain bonus mana. So Clumsy, talk to me about this. What did you cook?
Yeah, so you know what? There's so many aspects can go in so many different directions, and sometimes we just want to do something wacky and different. Like Merlin was a version of that. This is okay. So this is definitely wacky, and it's going to be different. It's a different play style that you kind of will need to be playing around with. Like your mana just doesn't matter now. So immediately, your assault mains out there. Another reason to love Sila. You literally won't have any mana complaints to be worrying about there. Maybe a bit strong there, but we can talk about that later. But yeah, so you're actually going to be generating the amount of mana that you would be spending, which is actually still seen in your abilities, icons. That's actually how much mana you're going to be getting when you deal damage to enemy gods. And you gain about 20% of that mana that you would be spending as mana back on minions as well. So you can get mana off of your minions. And then once you get to your full, there is still technically cooldown your ultimate as a safety valve. I'm just going like 20 miles per hour the way I'm speaking. But what you actually really need, is your full mana bar. And once you get to 100% of your current mana, you can then use your ultimate, and it no longer scales off of intelligence, but it only scales off of base damage plus your total maximum mana that will then fully be consumed.
So I'm just going to reduce my cooldowns here. That way I can get mana really quick.
So there's definitely a lot of there's some different things to think about here. So now we have full mana. That ultimate is available to use, and if you use it, no matter what you do, you will still get 3 booms. Boom, boom, boom.
But it used all my mana.
But it uses all of your mana, and now you're reset, and then you're starting again. So there's 2 main things to be thinking about here, which is 1, you're gaining mana as you level up. You're gaining mana through like the new ultimate stacks, which is not giving you damage technically, but it's giving you mana. You're gaining mana from items theoretically if you build into that. That being said, because you need maximum mana, you need 100% mana to actually use your ultimate. It's a soft secondary gauge that's almost working in its own way of cooldown.
Yeah.
But you're not getting any mana regeneration. You're not getting any way of getting mana over time, which is something that we're still thinking about if we want to. But there's we want to make sure, we want to see almost for you guys if this loop feels fun. Because like if you go Book of Thoth, for example, you're going to be doing a lot more damage to your ultimate, but you won't be getting to your ultimate as quickly because it takes you longer to get there and use your abilities. That being said, you can actually counter build into that by buying more cooldown reduction. The more cooldown reduction you have, the more abilities that you can spend, which is more mana regen that you're getting faster and faster. So you have this balance between mana.
Like a wall.
I know, right?
With like strings connecting all this. There's a lot going on.
So it's like if you go, Rotted or one of those I was building just today, which has mana in it, then you might want to build like a Chronos Pendant as well to get your mana regen faster. And so Deso, like cooldown reduction, the ultimate still has a cooldown as a safety valve, but it's not there. Like that's like the soft gate. You're almost always going to be gated by the mana. So what you want to do is probably get cooldown reduction or and hitting, hit enemy gods more often or hit enemy minions, but you only get the 20% off there.
Yeah.
We have talked about potentially giving, like, let's say mana from items as a soft way of getting mana regeneration as well over time, or another mechanism, let's say maybe for every second you have your ultimate off of cooldown, you start getting mana regeneration there, so it at least comes back over time. But we wanted to kind of see how this was a lot to cook on already, that we wanted to throw as little variables as we could into it, and then we can play with it from there. But it's a much different way of seeing and even facing against Sila. I think in the very first playtest, someone was versing against Sila, and like she used her ultimate. It's like, okay, sweet. Wait, she's in it again. She didn't kill anyone, but like she's going again. She's going again.
Yes, it's a completely different gameplay loop for Sila,
Yes,
which is super exciting.
It is. It's very different. It's fun. It's interesting to play against, and yeah, hopefully people like it.
It's the ult reset. It doesn't exist. It's always 3 every time, unless you cancel out of it.
Yeah. Don't leave this screen.
Yeah, I was gonna bring us back to cams. Yes, I'm in depth today, chat. Sorry, no spoilers, but we not necessarily spoilers, but we want to talk about what's coming in OB12. We don't want to talk about anything.
Can we talk about two other things on that screen before we?
Yes.
Two in-game things before we go on.
Yep.
Okay, first thing, and one of them will be harder to show here, but the first thing is the line is different now.
Yes.
I don't know if you see. So Chuck took a pass on changing the FX that is the line, and this is kind of V1. The big thing that we wanted to do was to make the end of the line a lot clearer, because that's really what you care about most of the time is the end. And then the kind of soft lines on the side are kind of not really they're kind of like the width of your basic attacks. So like you might hit something that's still in that area. So it's kind of like, and also like if you pull up a line targeter, the line targeter is going to line up with that. So it gives you just a little bit more like instant like feels about the stuff. This is kind of V1. We're going to do a couple other versions of this as well that maybe are just the end part. Maybe we do the end part in the center line, And then the other thing that has been broken since the start of SMITE 2 is that your position of this should change if you are a melee character or if you're a ranged character.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
To line with the end of your thing. So I'm not 100% sure we're going to get that part into the next update, but that is on the list to do, that we're going to hook that up properly so that the line, properly reflects that.
Yeah.
So
sweet.
And then one thing I've noticed in Kilgoon is if I hit, I get my little red target here.
That's right.
That is not in this update. I don't think.
Okay.
I don't think hit marker stuff is in this update. I think that's just in.
So
dev.
still kind of work in progress.
Yeah.
Cool.
One thing that the other thing I did want to show though is if you I think getting hit by a tower might trigger it.
It will.
Okay. So.
Nice.
Right there is you see that little arrow pop up.
Ooh.
That is our directional damage indicators. So
much softer and cleaner than the last time I saw.
Yeah, we're continuing to work on the exact visual treatment of it, and even what goes live may not be perfect, but we're feeling pretty good about where it is right now, at least to where we can ship it. So if you have multiple people that are attacking you, there will be multiple arrows. The initial size scales to the amount of damage that you're being dealt.
Oh, nice.
If you get hit multiple times, it grows.
Oh, nice.
To further draw your attention to, hey, this person is doing more damage to you.
I see, yeah.
So, pay attention. So a lot of little things there that should help make combat a lot more readable and understanding, wait, what the hell is doing damage to me? There is an option to turn this off. But again, this is the kind of thing that we think new players in particular will really appreciate, because most games that are like us have this.
Yeah.
If you have been playing SMITE for a decade and this is the only game you've played for a decade, you're probably like, this is useless, right? But for most players, we think that that's going to be a nice little help. And that's the end of my in-game stuff for today.
Oh yeah, that's two good, really good quality of life changes.
I have other things for later, but for right now.
Sweet. All right. Well, I'm going to bring us back to cams. What's next on the list, Kilgoon? Should we talk about the Traveler coming?
Yeah, let's do the Traveler.
Cool.
As if you are not in America, you may not know that the greatest day of the year is approaching. July 4th is American Independence Day. And we always celebrate Independence Day in Smite because we have a lot of American players. And if you're not an American player, you might like making fun of Americans with some over-the-top cosmetics. So we have a little dose of freedom we're unleashing today.
And I'm going to bring it up. I will call it out before I bring it up. This screen is temp. It's not quite all the way done yet, but we can show it off.
Yeah.
It is the Freedom Traveler
my God.
with the Thorge Washington skin.
Yes, this is
I have not seen this.
Thorge Washington is pretty incredible. His wall is not quite done. His card art isn't done, which is why we have the other one in place.
Wow.
I believe, don't hold me to this, but I have heard that the wall is going to be a little bit like Mount Rushmore.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Which is kind of funny. His effects in game are really cool. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Another thing that our players will find pretty exciting here, I think, is that Raw America is back.
Yay, classic.
So classic skin. We don't have the tags quite right yet, I don't think, but classic skin that is just unlocked for free when you get the Traveler. Yep. It'll be available for Legacy gems only later, same way.
Correct. Yep.
And you will get a somebody says Mythical's a tier 5. Is this a mistake? Yeah. There's a little bit of setup, so it's
still temp. Yeah.
There's also a prism in here, which is
whoa,
the
Chrome Eagle Raw.
Oh damn!
This has a different voice pack, or a different voice
it's
pack
the same
treatment.
Yeah, he sounds almost like a robot, which is really cool.
Yep.
Can you go back to the other one? I just want to see flick between them. Yeah, okay, because the whole feather textures are gone, and
he's chromed out.
Now. That's sick.
When we were like, we
That's
want to bring him back
really
and do a
cool.
prism of him, we're like, how the hell are we going to prism an American
this is
color
smart.
scheme thing? But yeah, our team always just comes up with really cool ideas, and I think this guy's neat. And shout out to Kellen for doing a pass on the voice pack to sound a little more mechanical.
Yeah, and then other things in this, you get the Freedom Badge, which is that hammer from Thorge Washington.
Sweet.
The Raw America announcer pack is also on this Traveler page. And then we got a really awesome Wart skin. The Ultimate
that's a
Eagle.
classic.
Yeah.
This is sick.
Wow, they spent some time on that.
Look at those muscles, man. Like,
damn, those.
Yeah. So
man, it's shredded.
Yep. So that's going to be this 4th of July Freedom Traveler, I guess is what it's called. And it's pretty fun. The effects for we probably won't go in game today to show them off because it's still a little work in progress. There's a lot of fireworks everywhere on the effects. The fireworks look really good in UE5, I would say. And I think it's a lot of fun. So hopefully y'all like it. I don't know what the price is going to be. I don't know if that is the actual price, but sorry, I don't have the final price today for that. Sweet. So that's the 4th of July Traveler. Do you want to do the other 4th of July stuff first?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so it's a double dose of freedom in this update.
All right,
cool. We also thought it would be fun to do. We want to make sure we're not doing like too much stuff in the supporter store. But we thought this could be a fun place to do like a themed seasonal bundle. Yeah. Because people always love this stuff. So we did a special seasonal bundle here, which has two really cool teleporter effects.
Oh snap! What?
These are teleporter effects. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a teleporter effect. You become a bald eagle.
It's work in progress.
Flying along. There's FX that fly out of the back of it. I think there's like patriotic music that plays.
Oh my gosh.
It's pretty hilarious. And then if you're more of an America fighter jet guy, similarly,
that's pretty dope.
Fighter jet flying along with FX trail and special sound effect, which is pretty fun. And it does tilt with it actually kind of like goes like this flying around. It's not just like cool. I'm locked onto my path. So it's pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, if we've got a fighter jet, we've got our Smite cards.
Yeah, and somebody asks if the Eagle was custom made for this. I will fully admit this is a modified version of like Sun Wukong's Eagle, right? But we did art it to make it look more like a bald eagle, and we thought it would be a fun thing.
We've got the Smite 1 cards that we could definitely do.
We do. There's
other stuff in
also new name flare. So there is a starry animated Independence Day named flare. And then there's also, we were just missing like a blue and a red option. So if you just want a blue option or a red option, cool.
Yep.
There's also 4 quips in here.
Give us the backstory on this, Kilgoon.
Okay. I personally was lobbying for this. In another life, I was working on Paladins before I came back to Smite. And we made a really good Independence Day skin, which has one of the best voice packs ever.
Yeah.
And I was like, we just got to take some of the lines from that American skin and bring them over because they are hilarious.
Yeah.
So it's 4 lines from that skin's voice pack that I just find hilarious. So hopefully you find them as amusing as I do. Are they good?
Thank me. Thank capitalism. That's democracy, baby. Screw the metric system.
Screw the metric system. I love it.
What the heck?
About to get patriotic as fucking here.
Oh, that was great. Okay. Nice.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, so I think I don't know. I thought this is we were like we didn't want to just put together like, oh, here's a bunch more name colors. Oh, here's a bunch more teleport. So we were like, let's do a seasonal bundle. I think I don't remember the price, so I'm not going to say it. But there's a reasonable price, I hope, for a collection of a bunch of different fun seasonal things. So
very cool.
screw the metrics. Yeah. That's the message. Somebody says I'm German and I need this bundle.
Yeah.
That's the people who are maybe working on another game or something, and they look at this and they're like, why do they make all this American stuff? It's because it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's fun to be like make fun of the things that make America culture.
It's over the top on purpose.
Exactly. Okay, so
What do you got up next on the list?
Do you want to do the other Traveler?
Let's see. I think that page may be like really, really temp. So,
Okay, so
I can maybe just bring up the skin and the loadout.
yeah, that's probably fine.
All right, cool.
When we recently did Landshark with the prisms as a Traveler, and people really liked it. It did far better than any other way of selling prisms we had found yet. So we were initially going to do this as another bundle of prisms like we did Athena, but because people liked the last Traveler so well, we were like, oh, we should probably just do this bundle of prisms as a Traveler as well. So we have the long-awaited Guan Unicorn.
Oh, sweet.
Is going to be a Traveler. It's going to work very similar to Landshark. I don't know the full details, except it has 4 prisms in it instead of 3 because we were initially going to do this as a bundle. So there's Scarlet Tempest Guan Unicorn. There's Morning Haze.
Oh, this is
the
sick.
one I've been using in playtest. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, this one's sick.
There's Amethyst.
Nice.
That's a typo. Amethyst shade. And then there is Blacklight.
No, woo.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah, so pretty fun. Like I said, we were initially going to do this as a bundle, but people seem to just like Travelers so much that we were like, let's put it in a Traveler and see if it does as well. I will say there will also be a title and I believe a badge as part of the Traveler if you want to get it. And I wanted to, if you didn't watch on Friday, we have decided that since we're doing more Travelers, if people do get into the place where they want to buy some Wandering Market coins, we try to make it so you can earn them pretty easily. But if you get in the place where you want to buy some, we're changing it so that you can now buy Wandering Market coins with 100% legacy gems. So if you just want to turn your legacy gems into Wandering Market coins, you can do that. And we're also lowering the price. So they were a combined price of $650 between diamonds and legacy gems. They're just going to be 300 legacy gems for a pack of 500 coins. So we really just want you guys to have fun with the Travelers and unlock stuff and the markets. And let's not be greedy about stuff, and let's make sure everybody's having a good time. So that's what we're doing. Hopefully everybody enjoys the new Travelers. We've got a lot more stuff in this.
I know, right? Another skin that I've got.
But
pulled
wait,
up. There's more.
Another skin pulled up. Which one is it?
It is an all new skin. Venom Strike Medusa.
Whoa.
Yeah. So this is cool. This is going to be in a chest, I believe, or available for direct purchase. So new chest, Venom Strike Medusa. It's not fabled. We just don't have the tagging quite done yet. And she looks pretty dope. And
she's got 3 prisms as well.
She does have 3 prisms as well. So if you want to be blue coral, that one's sick.
Yeah.
I love the material
this,
change and seeing all of this
sick.
now. This is so nice.
Then you've got White Cobra.
Oh my gosh. Gorgeous.
Yeah. This White Cobra is my favorite.
Yeah, that's really cool.
But Black Mamba is a close second.
Ooh.
Okay. Dude,
all
every
of these
time
are
we
really
show
sick,
off prisms, I'm always just blown away. I'm like, you see the skin for the first time and it's great, and then you just see all the different art treatments to it, and it really makes me appreciate all the subtle additions on every single one.
Yeah.
It's dope.
And again, it's in the chest, or you can get direct purchase. up to you.
Yeah.
You know, we like to give people the option. Generally speaking, we view chests as like discounted bundle-ish kind of thing. If you just want some content, you don't really care exactly what it is, cool, roll the chest. If you specifically only want this skin, then just buy the skin. We aren't trying to you know, be rude about it. Sweet. There's one more skin thing.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I think I may have missed it.
The Jingwei Bumblebee skin that was a classic skin that was part of the first Traveler that we did.
Right.
It's the Traveler's going away, so it will now be available for Legacy Gems if you just want to get the Bumblebee skin directly, like we promised it was going to be. We also have 2 additional prisms for it because they made a couple extras and they were like, these are fun. So if you want to buy these other prisms, you can. They are the Beetle, another bug theme, kind of some iridescent, and the pink rose.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. So again, if you want to get some prisms for your, you know, for your classic Bumblebee skin, those are options.
Lots of cool content in this update.
Yeah, lots of cool content. I think that's it for skins, and then I have a bunch of other just like quality of life improvement stuff that's going to be here.
Well, if you just want to go down the list and tell me what to bring up in game,
I don't know if we'll be able to see all of it in game, but I will talk through most of it.
Cool.
So every time that you log into Smite right now, you're greeted by a screen that does nothing except you have to click to go past it.
You're talking directly to me now.
That's not going to happen anymore. You will still briefly see this screen, but it will automatically advance into the game if the servers are up. If the servers aren't up, then you're going to be stuck on that screen.
Okay,
sorry.
Cool.
So one click removed from your life every time you play the game equals joy for me.
Big win.
This is going to affect a handful of players, but this came up and it was an easy thing to fix. We're going to remember the last queue you played via our online settings now. So if you play like Joust on your computer and then you go over to your Xbox, it'll remember that you played Joust.
Yeah.
Cool. Relatively small one. Can you open the settings screen?
Yes.
This is the dumbest, but the kind of thing that I want to make sure that we really get right because I think it matters.
And I'm here.
Do you see a button that says close?
I do.
That wasn't there before. You had to think to push escape or X or whatever the back is on console to close it. So now there is a close button for your settings screen.
Yep. It's the little things.
It really is the little things, yeah.
We have a number of cleanups to the match lobby that are along the same lines. If you are not playing Assault, the activate boost button at the bottom won't be shown.
Sure.
If you're not playing Conquest, the change role button won't be shown. The role-specific tabs for gods, they're like, this is a good jungler, won't be shown unless you're in Conquest because that's useless information. And stuff that really confuses new players. They're like, what the fuck is all this stuff? I click on Booster and I can't use Booster because I'm playing Arena. So we will be sorting gods that you own to the top of the list or that are on rotation. Yeah. So it's not like I have to scroll down and see, oh, Ra is down at the bottom. Much easier to find your gods. Somebody says you can't use boost in Arena. Currently in Smite 2, we only have one kind of boost, and it's like a skin booster thing, and it only works in Assault. At some point in the future, we'll probably add boosts to other things that are like XP boosts or whatever, but we don't have those yet. So we were just wasting real estate by showing you that. And even if we do have boost in other modes, we shouldn't show you that button if you don't have a boost you can use, right? So new players shouldn't see that button regardless. There's also a button to close the filter tab in the match lobby now. So there was no close button on that either. So that's another one. I have 2 other things that are again tied into this new user flow. Aspects will no longer be selectable until your account level 5.
Right.
We think that aspects are awesome. They're a great part of Smite 2, but they really are complicated, and it's not the way that new players are supposed to play a god most of the time, right? It's only account level 5, which you're going to get to in an hour or maybe an hour and a half of playing. It's not per god, so you don't have to get like to a certain mastery level or anything. It's just once you have some idea what you're doing in the game, you can pick an aspect.
Yeah.
Similarly, you will now, you know how at the beginning of every match, it's like, do you want a manual build or do you want an auto build? And which auto build do you want to use? And then it's like, which relic do you want to use? That's a lot of fucking decisions for a new player. And it's just like, oh my God, there's so much stuff and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just clicking and I'm like, oh, there's a lot. I don't know about this game, right? Until you're level 5, once again, account level 5, we're just going to automatically pick you an auto build and we're going to automatically build you a relic that is appropriate for that auto build. So once again, only until you're level 5. If you don't want that to happen, you can open the item store and build for yourself, you know. Or I believe you can actually also like kind of hack it by like pinning a build from the community
Oh, that's
builds.
true, yeah.
But again, for new players, it's just don't have to think about it at all. I don't have to select an auto build. I don't have to pick a relic. It just is what it is.
Just hop in game and have fun.
We are also simplifying the text on the select relic screen. Previously, we displayed the full tooltip text for every relic. Nobody actually read this, and it was very confusing, especially to new players. So once you hit level 5 and you get to the select relic screen, can you actually like look at it? Is that do you have like that flow on?
I do not, but I can turn it on and pull it up.
Cool. So basically, it's just going to show the short descriptions for those, which is like maybe a sentence long, like makes you immune to damage, like makes you CC immune, like just a really quick version of like, this is what this thing does, and this is actually the thing that's going to inform my decision. And it doesn't matter that like, Aegis still makes you move faster if you take damage while you're Aegis, right? Isn't that a thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody cares unless you're like the top 5% of players.
The simplified version.
That's not a thing that you need to know when you're making that decision until you're really good.
So this is the simplified text. Yeah.
Really easy. Oh, do I want to shield my team? Do I want to damage gods? Do I want to become immune to damage? Do I want to teleport? Cool. Easy. Right? Like, again, somebody just said, I didn't know it did that. Because nobody reads the text. It was too much.
Clumsy's like, no.
Yeah.
So much time invested in tooltips and descriptions.
Nobody reads
eventually.
it.
When it's the time and it's appropriate. Because that's the main thing.
Can we go back in game real quick?
Yeah.
And then can you if you close this or just select something?
Yeah, we'll get bees.
It doesn't have Can you get hit by a tower again real quick? Just maybe it'll pop up.
Yep.
We're also changing the it's not showing in this mode. Maybe it just doesn't work in this mode.
Maybe.
There's like help text that appears when certain things are happening to you. Like when you're low health and you should go back to base.
Right.
Or when you have a ton of gold and you should spend it. Like that kind of thing.
Tips or something like that is a separate.
We're just making it I think it's just like a brighter red around the edges. There may be a little bit of a pulsing effect or something. I'm not exactly sure which. But we want to make sure that you understand that this is like, pay attention to me. There's something going on that you should probably react to.
Right.
So small change. And then two other things, and there may actually be more stuff that ends up getting into the patch, but two other things that I feel comfortable talking about today. We're going to be adding the good for new players tags to the gods that are part of the free god rotation.
Cool.
Because it's really weird when you're a new player and it's like, but don't play these gods that are free that you can actually play.
Yeah.
Like go unlock these other gods to play them. So just a really, really, that's in already, says Blake. So thanks, Blake. And then the last thing that we're experimenting with right now, and I can't show off today, but we'll probably show off on Wednesday, is we're working on a slightly different camera that is we're currently calling it the action camera internally, but essentially the way that we calculate our FOV and where our camera is actually not going to move the camera position very much, but it's going to change the FOV to be to feel more like a modern game. And the big part of that, and FOV is like your field of view. It's like how wide is your camera seeing, right? And the problem with a really wide FOV like we have is that it makes things feel really far away that are like in the middle of your screen that are like a medium distance away. So you can see more, but it has the side effect of like making things in the distance feel really small. So we think it like changes the feel of the game quite a bit. And this is the way Smite 1 is, like Smite 1 parody. So we're adding this alternate. Smite is very fisheye right now, right? Smite is a very wide FOV, so you can see like around the edges of your character basically. But we want to have the default camera for new players be a little bit tighter, because that's more of a normal experience, and the game feels more actiony, and the game looks better from a tighter FOV. This doesn't change your ability to zoom in and out. At least I don't think it will. Maybe in action cam you might be locked. And we are not doing away with the classic cam.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
If you are a current player and you like the way Smite looks and plays, cool. Keep doing it. I'll probably keep doing it too. This is more like, I don't know if you guys have played like WoW. When you load into WoW, the camera, like this is my character. My camera's like right here, right? Once I've played WoW for like a day or two, my camera's up here, and it's mostly like a top-down game, right? It's about that first experience, and then people can go in and change the camera if they want to. So we really want to make sure that that initial feeling is more actiony and modern. And if you want to switch to the other camera, you can. Because the way we are right now is much more like an old school MMO camera versus like a modern action game camera. I think that's everything I was going to talk about today. There's more stuff that we are working on, but I don't know if it's going to get
lots more stuff. Yeah.
But that should give you, again, more of the kind of an idea of like the kind of stuff that we are focusing on a lot, right? We want to make sure that the game is improving very rapidly. We're focusing on quality of life things. We're focusing primarily on things that you would notice as a new player, and obviously affect your experience even if you're not a new player. And we're focusing on adding new gods and new aspects and new items and stuff where it makes sense. I will say, people want to see the new FOV. I would have liked to show it today, but it's not quite working right now, which is why I can't show it. We'll definitely show it off on Wednesday. Maybe it'll be ready for the PTS test tomorrow. I saw Pawn was in chat. Maybe he knows. But yeah, it's moving forward. Like, and you know, hopefully we'll get it into a place that's good enough to ship and start getting some feedback on, and we'll keep going from there. So Pon says he's working on it. Sweet.
Nice. Cool. Sweet. So, gosh, that was a lot. So to recap, Ganesh aspect, Sila aspect, new Independence Day Traveler, new Guan Unicorn Prism Traveler, new prisms for Jingwei, Bumblebee, a new skin for Medusa with prisms, Thorge Washington, a new supporter store Independence Day themed pack with 2 teleporter effects, a few quips, and some name effects. New targeter treatment, new incoming damage treatment, lots of other new player quality of life stuff for the lobby. I'm sure I missed stuff because that list was so long. But
number summing, directional damage indicators. There's a lot
in 2 weeks.
Close buttons in 2 weeks. That's the crazy thing. It's been 2 weeks since our last update, guys. Like every time we do this like recap, and I'm like, and it's been 2 weeks. We're consistently trying to make the game better and better and better. We think it's getting better and better and better. Like I said, I think that we're getting to the point where we can really start addressing a lot of this stuff, because before it was like the core game just needed all of our attention. I think the core game is really fun right now. So now it's more, how do we make the rest of the experience great, and how do we make new players be able to onboard even better, right? And I will say, like, we're going to be willing to make some really big experiments and big swings on things that new players will experience. But the general goal is that, like, it's not necessarily anything that you will ever have to interact with as an advanced player, right? Like, you have fun playing Rank Conquest, cool. But how do we make the new player experience better? And we might try some crazy things. If we try something crazy and it doesn't work, then we'll do away with it.
Roll it back,
try something else, right? Like, but we're going to do a lot of experimentation around new player stuff in particular. So it's really been. I'm really, like, this team is amazing. Like, people that work here are great, and I'm always impressed with how much we're able to get done, and I really just proud of everybody, and excited, and hopefully everybody enjoys playing the new update when it drops.
I believe the goal is to hopefully flash test at some point this week, maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday after our Wednesday Titan Talk. But we'll follow with Kabir, and of course we'll let you all know on social media whenever there's a flash test available for you all to play. and we've got about 10 minutes left in the show, so maybe open it up for just a short little Q&A question. Chat Clumsy's here if you got any questions about Ganesh aspect, or Sila aspect, just because that thing is so spicy. Clumsy's got to take a drink because it was so spicy. Exactly. So we'll hang out for the next 10 minutes or so and take a few questions before we get back to it.
Oh, yeah. There is people asking about roadmap, like who's after Ganesh. We'll probably next week we'll talk about who's coming after Ganesh, because usually the week where we talk about the new stuff and like this is just a busier week in terms of like our schedule, and we have a lot of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about balance yet.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's still a lot of balance stuff. Like there's a lot, right? So we kind of have a busy week. Probably next week we'll at least talk about who the next two gods are, and you know, as much as we're able to share.
Yeah.
So. Beach Babe Afro, I can neither confirm nor deny said allegations.
Is there any sort of kill reset on Sila aspect ultimate? No. So if you're using Sila's aspect, you have three fires no matter what. Getting kills like doesn't do anything in terms of the resetting. You do get the mana stacks.
So it's 3 minimum or 3 maximum
exactly.
for aspect. Yep. Okay.
I mean, you can cancel out of it early if you want to. And one thing to note there is that one of the trade-offs is you do not get the movement speed buff at all when using your ultimate, because we realize what you can do is if you have the movement speed buff, you can go as far as you could. Ulti once, get a reset timer. Go again. Ulti once, get a reset timer. So you're just cheesing it. It was unnecessary. So.
Are we going to get any summer skins at all? Not, I mean, other than 4th of July. Not in this update. I think maybe there might be something in the next update, but I'm not 100% sure, and nothing is confirmed until we say that it's 100% coming.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Scylla aspect ult does scale with your maximum mana, so it has nothing to do. It does not int scale anymore. It is max mana scaling, and we did consider things like giving her abilities a percentage of max mana rather than flat amount. But one of the ideas there is that we want it to be an almost like build crafting theory gameplay change of, do you want to build more max mana items to make you do more damage, or do you want more cooldown reduction, or do you not want to care about either of those things? It's meant to be a little bit of a build solving.
I bet CDR goes crazy with her because you don't use mana for your first 3 abilities.
Yep. That being said, we know there's a little bit of like towards the mid to late game, or if you get a Book of Thoth or something that's too intense on the mana, maybe the trade off is it doesn't feel as good. So we're still going to be looking into that.
Is there a potential for a buff or rework of Artemis aspect, as it doesn't feel impactful? It was really good when it first came out. I don't know how it's doing right now.
I think it was slightly, at least, I'm not sure if it was underperforming. It was definitely less popular than base aspects. We're looking at those stuff all the time. Usually, one of the things that we have to be careful about is whether, like, I think Artemis as a whole was just doing quite well, including with her aspect, even if her aspect was just undervalued in terms of like its popularity, and we are always doing like small buffs here and there, especially with the aspects in mind. Just keep an eye on the patch notes, the main patch notes for when that is. Also, we have the hotfixes kind of in between these things to nerf things on the other side, but it's on our mind.
Clumsy, is Ganesha still knockup immune in his 2 if he's using aspect?
Yeah, I don't think that's changed. I can double check though.
Cool.
It's a lot of those, honestly, it's some of those tiny details, especially when we're going in between aspects or not, that we should be called out on to make sure that things feel good or not.
Can we unpin a build on God Builder, please? I don't want any build pinned. I think you can on PC, but not on console right now. So I think we just need to add a button prompt for that.
Scylla's aspect does not stack damage per hit anymore, but it does stack max mana, which theoretically is damage for your ulti. So you could also just rely on that to build up damage for your ultimate rather than it purchasing into mana-based items.
Yeah, you could probably confirm more hits since you've got, guaranteed 3 refires.
Yep. So. Does the directional damage indicator tell you where the damager is or where the ability is that damaged you? It points towards the character that is damaging you. So we went back and forth about this a little bit. Like, if I'm standing in an Anubis 3, should it be pointing down at that or should it be pointing at Anubis? And we felt like it was easier to understand when it was like, this is the person that's damaging you.
Instigator.
And like, because I probably want to do something about them, or they did something that's causing me to be hurt, so I can learn from that. It is gods and structures only. It's not minion damage, I believe. I'm 99% sure.
Yeah, I don't think it was minion damage when I was testing it out earlier.
I think I should check. There's a question of, can you see Loki if he's invis? I think invis hides it, but I will make sure.
there are obviously a lot of gods that do not have aspects that we're going to be working on through the bank. Like we're always working on that way, like the Baron that just dropped today, I believe. So that they'll all get one eventually.
Yep.
That's always been the
plan. Any information on when performance issues when a match first loads will be fixed? So this is mostly due to a thing called PSO caching. This is our top performance thing right now that we're looking to address, and it is one of our focal points. Part of it is when we switch to 5.5, Unreal Engine 5.5, we're on 5.3 right now. 5.5 does a better job of managing PSO caching, so that'll be that's kind of like the first part of the puzzle, and then there's another part that we're currently working on, and that is like we actually go through and we profile the performance of the game like frame by frame. What's going wrong, right? Mm-hmm. And almost every time there's a big hitch, like I'm gonna say 99% of the hitches that you feel are PSO caching. So we really need to address that. It's at the top of our performance priority. Once we get to 5.5, then I hope we'll be able to address it permanently and not have that happen anymore.
Clumsy, I saw it in chat, but can you remind everyone how much cooldown rate you get from Ganesh aspect when you get a
Every
kill?
god kill converts to 2 cooldown rate right now. Or in today's playtest, it was every kill.
Is the notification for a reported player being punished working? I've had a case where a player I reported was very likely punished, but chat got cleared, so I didn't read the last part of the question.
But I wasn't notified.
So right now, that is an entirely like manual process, and we have not been doing it as routinely as we would like. So a lot of people are getting punished, but you aren't getting the messages that it's happening. We've only run the message actually a couple times because it has been more labor intensive than we thought it was going to be. We're working on building out a system to automatically do that. Mm-hmm. So when somebody has an action taken against them, you are notified. But it just needs a little bit more time to get there. So we thought it was going to be an easier process to do manually than it is. So that is on the to-do list. I get asked this all the time. Can you take a look at Ramen with Aspect not proccing Odysseus' bow?
Someone write it down. We'll have a look at it.
Okay.
What happens if Sila dies while she has her aspect on? What happens to her mana? Does it get reset? Does she keep it?
I believe it should stay the same, but I'm going to double check. Cool. I saw that note and I thought that was very smart, and I didn't want
That is very smart. Yeah.
I was like, you know what?
Sorry, I didn't want to call you out.
No. I mean, like I said originally, there's a lot of those tiny details that, like, if it wasn't noticeable in our playtests, it just felt more natural. So I'll double check what it is, because that was that, and I think inbounds should. Although I'm not sure if I agree with the Ganesha aspect shouldn't push back minions, regardless if it's OP. That just seems like something it would normally do, but I can double check regardless.
Trees update. Chuck is here this week. Maybe we could try and get Chuck on the show.
Be cool.
Because he's here this week, if he wants to.
Yeah.
And Chuck wants to finish the trees. We're talking a little bit more about kind of some other things and just making sure we're prioritizing the right way before we do the rest of the work to finish the trees. But we are moving forward on stuff. Yeah.
When is the official balance update? We'll probably talk about balance for OB12 Wednesday, Friday at the latest. I know we're still working on getting full patch notes written up internally and then prep for the website for release and stuff like that.
There's a bug on Pele aspect. It's too OP. I told you, but you didn't listen.
Everyone just said, like, even when we were talking about it, they're like, oh, no, this is like, what underwhelming and OP aren't always like, the exact same tangent, but like, yeah, let's see how people enjoy it, see how it's feeling good. I mean, I was using it myself recently this weekend. I wanted to see whether it feel good in the jungle versus in solo lane. As long as it kind of fulfills a goal there, we can obviously play around with the balance.
Do we read all the bug and feature reports from Discord? Sometimes it feels like writing to nothing. I don't know what you were laughing at, but,
Bobby, just throwing shots out of left field. Sorry.
Okay. We do read all of the bug reports. Our QA and
shout out to Caps and Kabir. They go through that thing.
They do look at everything. They may not respond to everything because there's only so many hours in the day, but we definitely do read everything and we try and investigate things where we can and make fixes. I have seen a lot of people saying two things that people want to be able to remove. They want to be able to remove the beta watermark. That's not going to happen. I'm sorry. We think it's very important that people seeing the game at this point know that it's still not done.
Yeah.
And it's getting closer, but it's definitely still not done, right? Like, I mean, we're talking about putting close buttons on Windows today, guys. Like, there's still a lot of stuff we need to get done, right? But I understand that, you know, you don't want it on your screen, and we'll get to the point eventually where we can get rid of it. Yeah. People are also asking this match is safe to abandon box. Can we make that go away after a certain amount of time? We had wanted to make it like transparent after a certain amount of time or less in your face, but I don't think we ever did that. So I made a note that, you know, we can take a look at that, but no. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be prioritized because, again, we're focusing on like very, very beginning player stuff as much as we can. But it is something that I hear y'all on. Yeah.
All right, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'll answer one of the questions because we talk about it.
Is this going to be your one
more question?
It is. It's not a very exciting one.
It's 2 o'clock already.
Yeah, it's not a very exciting one, but yes, we've talked about it before, and I've been on this patch note saying before. If Mulan's doing fine, Mulan's doing fine. We know that there's some desire to play around with the +1 some more, and that is on our mind. But I'm also going to say the caveat of, if you keep talking about it that much, it just gets us a little bit less excited to work on it. So yes, we are going to be looking at it. It's just not right now's problem, and it will be a later's problem. It's just, she's also performance-wise doing okay. If we want to play around the +1, we can. It doesn't need to be tied to her balance.
Clumsy, why do you hate Mulan?
Yeah.
Hey, as the designer on Mulan, I very much appreciate Mulan, and I'm very fond of her. But that also means I'm going to be fair when we need to be fair.
Here's a good question for you, Clumsy. With all the aspects coming out, does it make it harder coming up with new ideas for newer gods?
That's a really interesting question, and that's actually something that was talked about. I think we were designing, I can't remember, was it? We were thinking about like Khepri's aspects back in the day, and I think it was actually an ambassador suggestion. And they wanted to try doing something like a field of revival or revival negation, and they were like, wait a second, that's Bari. And now I can say that because we actually haven't talked about that before. So obviously there are things that we want to be careful of, or, you know, there's discussions with Apollo's Ultimate and Horus. Generally, if we have cool ideas, we want to still make sure we can do them. Like if we have one that are banked up and we know we're going to be doing them like very soon afterwards, like the Bari one, for example. Yes, we didn't do that for Khepri because Bari's was literally being prototyped at the time. Then we want to be a little bit more careful. But yeah, we also don't want to restrict ourselves from having fun. Like we did the Apollo +1, whether that's an aspect or not, because we thought it'd be really cool and we wanted people to give it a try. And whether we need to play around with Horus when the time comes, that's okay too. And we're ready to do so. For now, the idea is just like, let's have fun. Let's do what we can for the players and get that stuff out there.
Nice.
There's a lot of good questions that have popped up here in the last few minutes. I will answer a different one than this. I'm not sure if there's more announcer packs in this update, but I think that's next update.
Yes, next update.
Yeah. Let's see. There was another good one that I was going to ask Clumsy, but I lost it. There's another question about like the damage indicator showing somebody hiding in a bush. We'll check that too, along with just basically if you can't see somebody, making sure that the damage indicator isn't showing for them. There was a Lonnie check question.
Cherry Twist for me.
Ooh, something new.
We had this
what is
Waterloo Blackberry Lemonade. It's just like sparkling water.
Okay.
So I figured I'd try it because I had a lot of caffeine this morning.
I'm a fiend.
Yeah.
And
I'll
I'll answer this one. This is a good one. Regarding action camera, I do not want new players to get used to playing Smite with an FOV that reduces situational awareness. Thoughts? That's cool, but we've been playtesting with this FOV, with some people playtesting with this FOV and other people not playing with this FOV. I have been playtesting with FOV changes in a lot of our playtests for the past month, and nobody has noticed that I am an ounce worse than I normally am. At the top, sure. Like maybe if you were playing in the pro league, you know, if we had a pro league, you would be nerfing yourself by playing with a camera that has a slightly lower FOV. This is like Quake players setting their FOV to like 230 or whatever the hell they can do, right? And like bunny hopping all over the place. But in your average matches, you are not going to be drastically different in terms of what you can do, and it's not going to create a noticeable difference in your matches if somebody's on one FOV or another. So, and again, like we're going to take some bigger swings to see if we can make things better for new players, and they may not be things that current players will ever want to do, but we don't want to make them do it. We just want to make the game more welcoming to new players.
Yeah, and then that's really the key. Whether it's the quality of life fixes or all the approachability stuff that we're doing. I think people take for granted the fact that like they've been here for a very long time with Smite 1 and they don't realize that like Smite 2, whether it's as a MOBA or just a dense information with a lot of characters. Again, people are asking for more and more God ports, right? But we're like 50 plus characters. Games like this don't come out nowadays or don't even have like a lifespan 250 characters. It's
true,
right?
yeah.
So like it's really information dense, and we need to sometimes take a step back and make sure we are allowing new players to come in and have fun too, not just old and returning players.
There's one other one here that I can just answer really quickly.
Let's get it.
Any way to change your name in Smite 2? Smite 2 uses your platform name. So if you change your name on your platform level, like if you change your Steam name or your Xbox name or your PlayStation name, that's how you can change your name. We don't have like the idea of a separate Smite name. Yeah. So that's what you got to do.
Sweet. Well, Kilgoon Clumsy, thanks so much for joining us for the Open Beta 12 Showcase Titan Talk. Lots of cool stuff in this update that players can look forward to. Ganesh aspect, Sila aspect, lots of cool cosmetics, lots of new player quality of life improvements. The goal is to hopefully flash test with this tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. Kilgoon, you got anything before we close out?
I got another one. Bands. Did you end up adding more bands or no?
I believe the person that was talking about that was away for a little bit, so
okay.
I'll be catching up with them. It's good to double check.
So maybe we'll have more bands, maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, we're working on it.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, sounds good. Well, until then, chat, keep an eye on our social media channels for news about the Open Beta 12 Flash Test. We'll be back on Wednesday to hopefully talk about balance incoming in this next update. But until then, we'll see you all in the battleground. Peace.